Hi everybody, we're here today to talk about Ghostbusters and more precisely Ghostbusters 3, or as I like to think of it as being called Ghostbusters 3. Just going to talk about my anecdotes, show some collectibles and things like that. But I guess my earliest memory of Ghostbusters is seeing the advert for it in the paper. And even though as much as I love my local cinema, the Savoy, it's kind of a bit of a flea pit probably in all honesty. So like when I saw the advert for it was going on at the local Odeon, which is an extra 2 or 3 miles up the road, and also I was only like about 10 years old at the time, so it was relatively good distance. And I went up to my sister's house, which was just up the road from my parents' house, and I was like, look at this, oh, Ghostbusters coming out, this big film and everything. And you know, it probably played London the week before, and then it was like the big nationwide release, they used to do it in the 80s and stuff. But so I managed to convince my sister to go to the Odeon, and sort of couple of really distinct memories of it is I can remember looking at the massive cardboard standee, and it had, I think it had like the, you know, Dana Barrett and Louis Tully on one side and the Ghostbusters logo in the middle and things like that, you know, them all pointing their proton packs up. And I remember looking at that standee, and my sister had walked a few steps in front and it was quite crowded. And probably in reality, she was really close to me, but just for a second I was like, oh, where is she, where is she? And I was like really panicking. I was like, oh, there she is. Like, oh, that was close. And then one thing as well, like, I know occasionally they still bring sweets in and things like that, like a bit of a trolley or whatever, but it was like in the time of Usherette and Ushers and things like that. And it was like a really old-fashioned cinema with a balcony. And the Usherette used to sit with the tray on a lap and a back facing like this 50-foot drop or wherever it was. And it's even now, the couple of times, because it's turned into a theatre, and the few times when I go to that theatre, I'm always like, you know, it really scares me. I've got that real distinct image from going to see it as a kid. And then as well, it did actually come to the Savoy eventually, and I went to see it about 3 or 4 times, at least 3 times with my mates, and we were running around the streets after pretending we were like Ghostbusters and stuff. And then obviously this is a bit more recently, but I went to see it again at the Printworks in Manchester. And around about that time, I made this Ghostbusters uniform with my own hands, and me and another couple of friends, we all made our own uniforms, and we went into town dressed as Ghostbusters. It was awesome, people just passing you drinks and things like that. And this is probably the sweetest memory though, was I was walking down the road, and I saw like a dad with his son, or that's what it looked like anyway, or his little brother or something. And he goes, because he saw me and my 2 mates dressed as Ghostbusters, and he was like, there's the Ghostbusters! So that was always really cool, like say, probably close up being like a rock star or something, but yes, Ghostbusters memories. This next item I've got to show is really cool, and really cool to me for loads of different reasons. It's the ZX Spectrum game of Ghostbusters, David Crane's Ghostbusters to be precise, and this really did sort of make me realise just how geeky I am, because of this game now, I can honestly say David Crane is my favourite computer game programmer of all time. He, like, you know, pushed systems to the absolute limit, like he used algorithms, so Pitfall on the Atari 2600 wouldn't use a lot of memory, and like even this game had like sampled speech at the time, and it made me remember by reading the credits on the box that it was David Aubrey Jones that did the actual sampled speech and stuff like that. So even then it got me reading credits. But the one really cool thing as well, like I say, because at the time pushing systems to the limits, because it was really hard to save games years ago. Like now, you know, games save automatically, you don't even really need memory cards or anything like that, or battery backups. But this is my code if anybody wants to continue the game, if you can get it on an emulator or anything like that. I got my mum to write it down for me so it would actually be legible and not like in some bizarro typeset or something like that. And can you believe, 32 years later, Matt's question, that Activision are actually doing the brand new Ghostbusters game to tie in with the new movie. And as well, I had only like one version of it, but there was a great video game where they got literally everybody back, like Ernie Hudson, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Al Ramis. The only guy they didn't really get back was Rick Moranis, but that's because he's retired. But yeah, that's Ghostbusters video games. Here's a great little collectible I've got. It is Ghostbusters, the novelisation, and this looks like it's been read, which probably kind of has a little bit. I've definitely skimmed through it a lot, and the actual pictures inside are actually sort of coming out, because you know, it was back in the day when, you know, it took a long time before you got to see stuff, so it's like, oh, let's have a look at the pictures, let's have a look at the pictures. And I've actually worn this one down, but it's very memorable to me for a lot of reasons, and one of the main ones was, this was when I was back in junior school, and the teacher said, if anybody's got any books that you want to bring in and we can read them in the class, you know, bring them in. And I got this book and I was like, oh great, we could read Ghostbusters in class. And I was just flicking through it, like, you know, I thought, oh, I'll have a quick skim through it. And I got to page 14 and it says, I'll tell you the effect, the student rages, it's pissing me off. I was like, oh God, I can't take that in, because you know, the teacher will go mad with me for taking a book in with swearing in it, even though it was in a film I'd legally seen at the cinema because it was only a PG. But another distinct memory I've got, they've got the pictures inside and it says, left, the first fully functional X-mobile in the world leaves Ghostbusters HQ. And I remember coming back in the supermarket, just to say in the car with my parents, and I remember saying, what does HQ stand for? And I think it was my dad probably said, oh, headquarters or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's the first time I knew what headquarters was. So that's the actual really thumbed version of Ghostbusters. And here's Ghostbusters the original and Ghostbusters II novelisations in near mint condition because they've never been read. But, and as well, and this is inflation for you, this version cost £1.75 and this version costs £2.50. The same book but slightly dearer, and that's Ghostbusters the books. This is the Ghostbusters 15th anniversary DVD. One thing I've got a quote-unquote bad habit of doing since I went to college, I saw somebody who used to put the tickets in the boxes and things like that, and so if you ever look at some of these other videos and you see the actual ticket or some kind of orange sticker or something in the box, then it's probably just the ticket I've put there. Like I said, this came out in like 1999. It's got like this weird video, world premiere video commentary on there. Another thing I've got a bad habit of doing as well is putting things like there's a leaflet here for who you gonna call this Halloween? Reflex 80s bar leaflet there. This was cool. This come all the way from Almeria. Some Ghostbusters crisps there. Pretty cool. That's another thing as well, because people complain about this new Ghostbusters, how, you know, it's ruined the series, and it's like, look how it's been merchandised just in this one little item here, how much stuff is there. And this is the Real Ghostbusters, and this is another thing as well, because probably a lot of people think, why is it called the Real Ghostbusters? Well, there used to be this Filmation cartoon called Ghostbusters, and they actually had to pay for the name so they could use the name on Ghostbusters, the cartoon and the film. And then what makes me laugh as well, you've got like this Ghostbusters, then you've got the Real Ghostbusters, Extreme Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters video game, David Crane's Ghostbusters. So you've got all these like different versions, like thousands of different versions, but of course that's the cartoon, and that's the Ghostbusters DVDs and VHS. Here's a few issues of the Ghostbusters comic here, the Real Ghostbusters comic I should say. Well, what does 38p get you nowadays? Not a great deal, eh? There's, what's this? Issue 37, 25th of February 1989. One thing that really struck me on the back of how old fashioned is this, William Tell the comic. That's going to get all the kids happy, isn't it? You couldn't do that nowadays. You'd be like, ooh, educational. I don't know what that means. Here's issue 65, it's gone up 20p, 2p even. Issue 60. There's just a couple more there. And this is the very first issue of Empire magazine that I ever brought. I remember when it was like a break in, you know, the morning break, and we had like about 10-15 minutes. There used to be some shops about 2 or 3 minutes away from the school. I remember really running as fast as I could to the paper shop, and I saw this new film magazine, and I was like, Empire, what's that? Then I noticed it's got like some Ghostbusters and Batman, and I was like, I'm having a bit of that. And then what's even more crazy, you fast forward all these years later, God knows how many years it is now, since 1984, and then look at this, Empire magazine, still putting Ghostbusters on the front. It's got a really cool cover. So actually you can put a picture of yourself in there and pretend you're with slime or something. And if you want to stay completely spoiler free, I would not recommend reading this because I've read a couple of major spoilers. So yeah, Empire magazine, and that's the magazines and comics section. Just going to have a quick look now at some of the music I brought for Ghostbusters over the years. For anybody who's younger than me, which is most people, or people who haven't got very good memories, there used to be a thing called a 12-inch single, and this is a version of it. It is On Our Own by Bobby Brown, the lead single from Ghostbusters 2. And they normally are just extended versions on, or instrumentals or remixes and things like that. This has got 3 tracks on it, they're all on our own, so great value for money there. And there's the back cover. Eagle-eyed viewers will get, you could spot him in Ghostbusters 2 if you look for him, and there's with his nice little top on and everything, that's good. This is Ghostbusters, the CD album, £3 from Sainsbury's, a bit of a bargain there, I think you'll find. This is the 7-inch single of Ray Parker Jr.'s Ghostbusters. I think one thing I've wanted to do over the years is look at the music video and try to figure out who all the celebrities are on there. I know Peter Falk's on there and Chevy Chase and stuff, but it'd be a cool thing to try and figure it all out. That's had some play over the years. And this is the actual full soundtrack to Ghostbusters 2. A couple of really distinct memories I've got of this. I can remember I went down, not the sister who took me to see Ghostbusters, my other sister. I went down to her house at the time, and she said, I said, can I play this on your record player? She was like, yeah, but I think the needle's a bit funny. And I was like, yeah, I've risked the actual life of this album by playing it, even though it could have wrecked it with a needle. But another great thing as well, I always think on this picture, there's an amazing picture of Sigourney Weaver on the back there when she was hot. We were all a lot hotter in 1989 there, weren't we? So yeah, there's Ghostbusters, the music. Yeah, so that's basically 30 some odd years of Ghostbusters memories and collectibles. Looking in that Empire magazine, which I forgot to mention as well, there's a really great interview in here with Dan Aykroyd, but among another interview was one with Ivan Reitman, and they're saying apparently they're working on loads of different Ghostbusters films. There's going to be like an animated one, and they're trying to do like a Ghostbusters cinematic universe. I think there's going to be like just another Ivan Reitman film and stuff like that. But one great thing in this, like I say, the interview with Dan Aykroyd that I just mentioned, apparently his 90-odd-year-old dad has moved in with him, and they're really into ghosts. He wrote like loads of books about ghosts, and they have seances and stuff like that. But I don't know why this story really amused me, and I thought it was really sweet that they're having this seance, and apparently the ghost or spirit who they come in contact with said the name of Dan Aykroyd's dad's cat. And he said, how could the spirit have possibly known this? But the bit that really amused me, and I don't know why, Dan Aykroyd said, I didn't even know he had a cat. So it's just, so I don't know why that just be, it's like, to me it's like a classic story, I don't know why it's so funny. But another great thing as well, I think Ghostbusters over the years has probably been released on more formats than you could ever think. It's been released on like Laserdisc, Video 8, VHS, Betamax. I think it's even been released on USB and stuff like that. And one really cool thing that's coming out in June the 7th, and I've seen a couple of them in HMV just up the road, are these 4K ultra high definition Blu-rays, and Ghostbusters 1 and 2 are coming out on these this ultra high definition Blu-ray, and as you can see here and here, they look really, really cool. I have to get them, be a good excuse just to in the future if I get an HD Blu-ray player, I'll be able to watch that. But thank you, hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully there's a nice little tribute to Harold Ramis and Ghostbusters, and see you later, and keep it locked.